Good morning to all my beautiful viewers out there. I hope you're having a wonderful quarantine. Recently, my state has just announced that we're not allowed to go outside for any reason besides exercise, shopping, and work. It's like a felony. It's wow, 2020, man. What a year. We're only coming into our fourth month? Jesus, it's just what a year. Am I right? Already 4 months in, what a year. It's going to change the world for the next couple years. 2020, it's just wow, it's crazy. It's crazy. So while I'm in quarantine, while we're not allowed to go outside, not allowed to enjoy the sun, not allowed to go out and do the things we normally do, we're gonna instead stay inside and talk about a sneaker from the early 2000s. Yep, what we're going to be talking about in today's video is the upcoming and already released, may I already say, it has already released on Stussy's store, but it's getting another release this Saturday. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Nike Stussy collaboration on the Spiridon Cage 2. Unfortunately, we don't talk about Stussy enough on the channel. I'll briefly cover Stussy and then I'll talk about why we should talk about it on the channel more. So Stussy is an American clothing brand. Their primary focus is around surf and streetwear that has heavily been used in, hip hop scenes, skating. They were really popular in the 80s and 90s. Less so today, but I feel like it's an underrated brand in the modern day times. I feel like Stussy does release some awesome pieces in their seasonal drops, and I think it does get overlooked. I really wanted to cover one of their recent seasons. I think it was the season they did late last year. I really think I should cover them more on the channel, but it's been around since the 80s. It was created by Sean Stussy, and in a way, it is the grandfather to a lot of the brands that we talk about on the channel. I mean, I'm literally wearing one of them that it's influenced very heavily. Antisocial Social Club, we talked about Nick Lurk recently on the channel, the owner of Antisocial Social Club. He was the social media manager for Stussy at some point. I don't know which years for, but he worked at Stussy for a period of time. And we talk about Supreme a lot on the channel. I mean, James Jebbia, the creator of Supreme, literally worked at Stussy for a while. So it's a wild time. It's crazy to think that the brand that we're talking about today influenced so many brands that we talk about very regularly on the channel. Now, honestly, I think I should cover Stussy a little bit more. I think if you guys want me to, like this video, comment down below that you want to see me cover more Stussy stuff, because I think Stussy is really good. I think it needs a little bit more love. So if you guys want to see content like that, I could definitely cover like their seasonal releases and stuff like that. It should be pretty easy to cover stuff like that. But yeah, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Stussy's new and upcoming collaboration with Nike. Now, Stussy Nike collaborations have been a thing for years. Like, everyone knows the Stussy Nike dunks. These things get showcased everywhere, especially all over Instagram. Everyone always posts about the Stussy Nike dunks. But in saying that, as much as the Stussy Nike dunks are being highlighted all the time on Instagram, I feel like today's collaboration is going to be a worthy contender on that, because I feel like a lot of people are getting around this collaboration. I'm not feeling it as much, but it looks like Instagram's really popping off about it. They seem to really like this collaboration, or at least one of the colorways from this collaboration. Now, what collaboration am I talking about in particular? Well, it's the Stussy Nike collaboration on the Spiridon Cage 2s. Now, this is a sneaker that doesn't get a lot of releases. It originally was created in 2003. It's a very overlooked sneaker because, I mean, in all honesty, I can't see it being a very popular sneaker outside of this Stussy Nike collaboration. I think the Stussy Nike collaboration is bringing a lot of attention to it, and a lot of people are loving it because of that collaboration. But if this released just as like a normal Nike shoe now in 2020, I can't imagine having it having the same like pizzazz and wow factor as this Stussy collaboration is. Now, I literally knew nothing about the Nike Spiridon Cage 2. It came out in 2003. I would have been 4 years old, and it doesn't influence a lot of the cultures and subcultures that I cover and talk about on the channel, or am interested outside of the channel. Like, I don't see heaps of hip hop acts wearing the Nike Spiridon Cage 2. Like, it's like, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So I knew literally nothing about it, but luckily I found an article which really did inform me on a lot of the stuff that I just didn't know. You know, like when it was released, who designed it, how popular it was back then. And guess who wrote this article? Mr. Mustachio himself from Full Size Run, Brendan Dunn. So I thought that was really crazy. You know, it all comes full circle. I mean, of course he's writing about it because he absolutely loves, like, you know, running shoes and technical running shoes. So of course he had to write about, you know, a technical running shoe from the early 2000s. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad article or anything. I actually really, really like it. And I think we should cover that article today because I didn't know a lot about the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2s, and if it wasn't for Brendan's article, I still wouldn't know anything about it. So I honestly want to inform you guys as much as I was informed. So I think what we should do to cover this shoe today is read Brendan's article, inform ourselves about the, you know, Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2, learn everything there is about it, and then we can move on to the HYPEBEAST article covering the recent collaboration with Stussy. I just think that's the way to go. I mean, I know a lot of you guys will be super keen just to hear about the, you know, the Stussy collaboration, but I think we need some prior knowledge to this because a lot of people are going to be buying into this model without knowing anything about this model. So I kind of just want to fill in the masses. Like, I kind of want to, you know, fill you guys in with all the details just so you guys know a little bit about the, you know, Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2 as well. So I really want to go about it that way. So sorry if you guys just wanted the HYPEBEAST article, but we're going to do both. So I think without further ado, we should just head on over to Brendan Dunn's article where he talks about the Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2s, and then we'll move on to the HYPEBEAST article. So let's head on over and read about the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. Now here we are, guys. This is the article. I've actually rethought about what we should do because the article is quite long. So I think we should just cover some of the highlights that the article talks about, and then I can leave the article in the description section below for you guys to cover the whole thing if you want to cover it. So the first part of the article basically sums up that the sneaker was originally intended for the Japanese market and it released in 2003 here. Now, it was designed by Steven Smith, who, yeah, it does kind of sound like a very, like, generic fake name. Like, if someone, like, was to call you out or you didn't want to give your real name out to someone, you would just come up with something like Steven Smith. I'm sorry, Steven, but it kind of seems that way. Steven Smith designed this in 2003, and he intended it for the Japanese market, right? This was the original sketches of the actual model that Steven did design here. Now, at the time, there was a forecast that they were going to do 40 to 80,000 pairs here. But Dan Jones, the head of the running category of Nike at the time, called Smith in, said, hey, let's change up the shoe to include a rubber forefront, and we'll sell it off to the worldwide market at an increased quantity of 800,000 pairs. And it absolutely hit off really, really well in Italy, Spain, South America, and a lot of the Western world as soon as that rubber forefront was added. You know, like, it really hit off. People thought this model was going to be like a new Air Max and treated it as so. They were like, oh, this is crazy, oh my god. The article basically sums up all those details and all the design choices into why Steven chose, like, to do all the mesh here, all these panels here. It dives into all of that. It's a really interesting read if you guys want to go into, like, the technical side of the actual sneaker. But to give you a brief overview, because the article is quite long and I wouldn't want to read into it too much for you guys, because you're probably just here for the Stussy Nike collaboration, let's be real. So it was done with the idea that it was meant for marathon runners, performance runners, everything like that. It was really focused around a Japanese audience, but then the head of the Nike running sector said, hey, no, this is an awesome design. Let's expand it to the worldwide market, change the design just a little bit, and see how it goes. And the forecast, heaps of people fell in love with it. They thought it was a crazy shoe, and apparently it sold really, really well. Another point that is brought up in the article, I think it's around about here. A guy by the name of, we'll just scroll up, sorry, just to grab his name. Yeah, Majdi, I don't know, I reckon I'm mispronouncing that so wrongly. Fernandez, who ran a sneaker shop in London back in 2003, he recalls that it was called back in the day the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon 2. The cage, which is what the new upcoming collaboration is called, it's called the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. That wasn't actually a part of the original name. The cage system, which refers to this system back here at the heel, that wasn't a part of the original name. It was given the cage nickname from the fan base because people were like, oh my god, look, it's a Air Zoom unit that's caged, you know, that's crazy. It wasn't actually released with the cage in the name. It was just called the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon 2. There you go, Air Zoom Spiridon 2. And then now in the 2020 retro with the Stussy collaboration, it's called the Air Zoom Spiridon 2 Cage. It hasn't annoyed the original fan base of the 2003 model, but it is just a little point to be brought up that it was originally called the Air Zoom Spiridon 2, and now in the 2020 retro, for some reason, we assume because of the cage system in the back here, and because, you know, fans originally referred to it as the cage system, it's now called the Air Zoom Spiridon 2 Cage. But a lot of people that were fans of the 2003 retro do say that it is a very faithful reimagination or retro of the original model. So it's good to hear that they're actually still quite happy with the retro, even though the name isn't technically the exact same as it was when it first released back in 2003. The article also does go into the idea that it's kind of a bit rude that Nike hasn't, you know, honored or talked about that Steven actually originally designed the Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2, but I don't know. It's interesting to talk about that because I mean, obviously a lot of the like really iconic Nike models, their you know designers do get talked quite a bit about, but I think this is just such a a niche small time shoe that, like, them not mentioning the designer, I don't think it's a spit in the face of Steven Smith. I kind of just think that it's just not that popular, and a lot of people aren't buying into it because it's a Steven Smith design. They're buying into it because it's a Stussy collaboration, because it's on trend now with the idea of dressing like you know, you're from the 90s or the early 2000s. I just don't think that, you know, Nike and Stussy came up with this idea that they're gonna redo this shoe because it was a Steven Smith a design, you know? I think they just went with it because they were like, this is a crazy early 2000s model, let's pick it because it's a crazy model that's gonna sell well because people are really into that type of thing at the moment. So as much as the article does go into a little bit of detail about that it is a little bit of a dog move to not include Steven Smith's name in any of the advertisement for the upcoming model here, I can understand why they didn't do it, because yeah, I don't think they're really doing it to honor Steven's legacy. I think they're just doing it because they know that it's like on trend at the moment and that it's going to sell well. And it's proven to be selling well because obviously it sold out on Stussy's store on Friday, and on the resale market it looks like it's reselling for quite a bit as well. It looked like it was quite a limited drop from the Stussy store, but again, we're getting a re-release of it this Saturday, so it's not looking like it's gonna resell for as much as it does now when it drops again on Saturday, because obviously there'll be more, you know, supply filling that demand, so the resale is going to go down. Don't stress about it too much. But yeah, I thought I would just briefly paraphrase the article, but also showcase where I got the information from, because all the information that I'm talking to you about right now is from this article. So if you want to read this article in more depth, you know, to hear about what Fernandez has to say, the guy that ran the sneaker shop in the early 2000s, or if you want to hear what Steven Smith has to say about, you know, the recreation and the reissue of the model in 2020. If you want to read more about that, I'll leave the article in the description section below, as always. But to sum it all up, it was created in 2003. It wasn't originally called the Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. It was just called the Air Zoom Spiridon 2. And it was originally designed for a much smaller niche market in Japan, but a slight change in the actual overall design caused it to really hit off with the Western world and a bunch of other countries, so they did a bigger, wider release because of that small design change. That's really all the article talks about, and I just thought I'd showcase to you guys where I got my knowledge from, because I don't want to act like I'm some super mega sneaker genius. I did learn it from this, and I wanted to showcase that to you guys. So now that we have talked about it, now that we've covered all the basic stuff to do with the design of it, this is the Air Zoom Spiridon 2. And now that we've covered it, now that we've talked about it, I think we need to go over to the HYPEBEAST article and cover the upcoming Stussy collaboration on this shoe. So without further ado, let's head on over to HYPEBEAST and have a look at the Stussy Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. Okay, now we're here. Now we can talk about the Stussy Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Caged 2. It's such a long name. They should have just cut out the caged bit and done it like it was in 2003 and just called it the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon 2. Caged just adds too much to the name. I feel like I'm running out of breath saying it. The Stussy, the Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Caged 2. It's just too long. It's just too long. They should have cut it down. I don't know why they added cage to it. It's a weird design choice. But also in this article, I would just like to say it also includes the apparel that released on Stussy's web store as well. So on top of the shoes being released, they did do some apparel. I don't know if the apparel's getting a re-release or if the apparel was just exclusive to the Stussy drop. It might release on the Nike drop on Saturday. I know that this shoe was getting a release on End as well, so if you're interested in it, you can pick it up on End as well. There might be a couple other stockists as well that are stocking it, but it still does look like they're trying to make it quite limited, but not as limited as like a, I don't know, like a Travis Scott collaboration or something like that. It is limited, but not super limited. So there's that. I don't know if the clothing is getting restocked. You would just have to check out the other stores, but we'll cover the clothing as well. I wrote down the retail prices of all the clothing, so if you guys are interested and the article doesn't cover it, I've got the prices as well. So we'll cover the article, see what it has to say, and then we'll talk about the Spiridons. So Stussy officially announces Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Caged 2 collaboration. The two colorways that come accompanied by co-branded apparel and accessories. I actually really do like the sweater. The sweater is really nice. It's just super simple, little like retro looking swoosh with Stussy written underneath it in a little box. Kind of cool, and that's it. That's all that's done to it. So I kind of like that. We can also cover the lookbook images as well. So Stussy and Nike continuing their long-standing collaborative relationship with a new capsule based around two fresh takes on the revitalized Air Zoom Spiridon Caged 2. Aside from the duo of bold footwear options, the collection also consists of cozy co-branded apparel and accessories, combining Stussy's penchant for a laid-back California style with Nike's sportswear heritage designs. Okay, so here is the collaboration. Here is the Air Zoom Spiridon 2 Caged. It looks like it's a little bit different from the 2003 model. They've changed it up a little bit here with the actual sole. I mean, it just looks like it's been heightened a little bit. It was a little bit flatter in the 2003 model from those images that we're looking at before. So it looks like they're maybe just giving a little bit of oomph. On the back, you got Zoom Air. You got Stussy written in a retro font done on a little patch there. On the side, you have a Nike swoosh done there with a little bit of fabric embroidered on. And I think if we can just get a nice photo. Oh, it also comes in a co-branded box, which I think is actually really cool as well. I like that. On the front, I don't know if we can get a good shot of it, but it actually has Stussy on the front as well. And a swoosh on the actual toe as well. But there is Stussy written on the actual end of the foot as well. I don't know, yeah, it doesn't look like we got any good photos of that. Hopefully it'll be showcased up in here. But anyway, let's keep reading into the article and see what it has to say. So, a high-performance, turn-of-the-century Nike running style, now suited as a casual shoe. The Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2 arrives in a dashingly divergent double of makeups, pure platinum black / white, is fully sport geared with a rich silver mesh upper and a snaky metallic silver overlays. Glossy black accents appear on the heel tongue, midfoot swooshes for dark contrast. Meanwhile, the fossil/black fossil goes full lifestyle, discarding much, but not all, of its mesh in favor of rough tan canvas. Uppers are almost entirely monochromatic, save for flat black detailing on the swoosh. Although both pairs are vastly different, each does offer some common threads. Both feature oval-shaped Stussy badges on the tongues and heels, plus small branded touches on the outsoles. Midsoles are made up of lightweight pilot rubber, and sizable Air Zoom bags are encased in a black plastic heel cages. There's also a cushioning setup on the forefoot, visible through a cutout window on the outsole. So you can, it's like here in this centerpiece here, it doesn't seem to be very many images. Oh, okay, there you go. So you can see the cushioning through the little hole there. So there you go. And you can just see on the front there, there's Stussy written just there. So there you go. And then there's that one there. So out of the two, I actually forgot to mention it as well. In the article that Brendan wrote, the original designer of the model actually said he prefers this one. And judging from the resale prices, from Travis and Kylie wearing it, it seems like everyone's kind of moving towards this one, towards the fossil colorway. Doesn't seem like too many people are into the black one, but definitely let me know in the comment section below if you like the black and silver one. I'm leaning in the same direction though. If, like, hypothetically, if they made like a size 16 one and they allowed me to pick it up, I would probably be leaning more towards the fossil one. It's something about the use of like that really vibrant silver and the black that kind of just makes me think that it just looks, I don't know, I feel like this looks super cheesy in black and metal. It looks really dad shoe, real, like, you know, something, literally something like a 40-year-old man would wear, walk to the store in, like, as his everyday shoe. It just, that doesn't appeal to me. But as soon as you do that color change and the material change on these panels here, it kind of looks a lot nicer. Like, this one looks a lot nicer than this one. Just saying it. Now, I will dive into the rest of the article and have a look at the apparel as well, see what they have to say. So, accompanying the footwear are 3 pieces of apparel and a tote bag. A heather grey sweater with co-branded Stussy and Nike detailing on the left breast is matched by grey sweats with the same logo. There we go, the grey sweats. A long sleeve tee with a slight mock neck features repeating swooshes around the heightened collar and Stussy text branded on the hem. Let's have a look. Stussy at the hem and a bunch of swooshes surrounding the collar there. Kind of wish it was a bit of a turtleneck. I would have been kind of on that if they did turtlenecks. Why doesn't Nike do more turtlenecks? Anyway, while the tote bag offers Sean Stussy's signature hand-scrolled graphic on one side and Nike swoosh on the other. Let's have a look. So Stussy on one side, and on the other side a nice little swoosh. Typical. The Stussy x Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2 and its matching apparel and accessories released exclusively on Stussy's web store at 10 AM PDT and Stussy's chapter stores in Hong Kong, Sydney, Seoul and Taiwan come March 27th. Ah, so it did actually release in some in-store locations. I thought it only released online. There you go, the more you learn. So it did release in some in-store locations. It's nice to see that Australia got a bit of love, because Australia really does love Stussy. If I walked around, if it wasn't coronavirus season, if I walked around like the CBD in my state, a lot of people do wear Stussy. Like people that aren't into streetwear, sneakers, any of those cultures, they just like wearing Stussy because they like Stussy. There are a lot of people that do that. So I'm glad that Australia got a little bit of love for it, because we really do love Stussy in the land down under. It's seriously a brand that a lot of us love. Even if you're, as I said, not into sneakers or streetwear, people just like the brand down here. Seriously, I've mentioned it on the channel before. Skating brands, they just work really, really well for people in Australia. People just love skating brands. They might even know that they're not skating brands. Not saying that Stussy is, but any brand that's like heavily embedded in skate culture, Australians love. Even if it's not a skating brand, if skaters wore it, Australians love it. It's just, that's Australian streetwear summed up for you. Skatewear, that's all it is. Okay, there you go. Nike sneakers plus select retailers like HBX and Dover Street Market London and end, but there you go. So HBX and Dover Street Market London will also have a digital release later on April 3rd. From what I know, it's April 4th now. It's whatever the date the Saturday is. This coming Saturday, it's releasing this coming Saturday, which from my memory was the 4th. But maybe some retailers are getting it slightly early. Maybe HBX and Dover Street Market are getting it on the 3rd. From what I know, it was coming out on the 4th. But I could be wrong. It could be coming out on the 3rd. I don't know what the hell date it is this Saturday. Basically, whatever date it is this Saturday is when it's covered out. It's covered out this Saturday. The shoes retail at 160 USD, while prices for the apparel and accessories have yet to be announced. Well, guess what? I went to the Stussy web store and I can tell you how much the apparel actually went for. So, the crewneck sweater, we'll go full view for this one. The crewneck sweater retailed for 100 USD. Which, you know, that's pretty stock standard. It's a collaboration. I'd expect it to retail for about that much. The shirt, the long sleeve top, retailed for 80 USD. So a little bit pricey there, I think. I understand 100 USD for the sweater, but I don't know. I thought that was a little bit too much for the long sleeve tee, but maybe that's just me. The sweats retailed for 90 USD. So there's that there. $10 less than the crew. Honestly, if I had to choose, like if there was only one that I could pick, I'd pick the crewneck sweater. I think that's the way to go. The tote bag was actually a bit surprising. It was actually kind of expensive. The tote bag retailed for 100 USD. Yeah, 100 USD. So the apparel actually did retail for a little bit more than I was expecting, because to put that in comparison, the shoes retailed for 160. The $60 less, that's what the crewneck sweater retailed for. That's what the tote bag retailed for. For $70 less, you got the $90 track pants. And then for $80, you got the long sleeve tee. So in my opinion, it was a little bit pricey, but that's just me thinking that Nike shouldn't be that expensive on the retail market. But I suppose when it's a collaboration, I can understand that they would bump the price up a little bit. Yeah, easily the crewneck sweater is my favorite piece. It's just a nice little clean crewneck sweater with some dual branding. I mean, I don't want more than that. I think that's just nuts. Now, actually, we'll dive in and see if the lookbook shows us anything extra. Ooh, is that, I was gonna say, is that it? Nah, okay. Okay, it just shows off all them. Wow, the tote bag is a lot bigger than what I thought it was. Maybe it's because this woman's quite small, but this tote bag looks massive. What I do like about the sweats though, the actual fit. They look super wide, super like early 2000s and late 90s. Just super big. And maybe it's because she bought them oversized, or maybe she's just a small individual, but they look super wide fitting, which is a real big Stussy and Nike vibe. For that time period, for 90s and 80s. So I really actually like the fit of that. The long sleeve top looks kind of nice on her, but I don't think I'd rock it. Wow, okay, I wonder how they got him off that. I wonder how they took that photo. Because look, it cuts off with the water. Okay, yeah, yikes. You're gonna have to stay there till morning, pal, but that's pretty crazy. Can't really see much in it though. There's a better look at the chrome, at the silver and black pair. I'm just not feeling them, man. Maybe some people really like them because they look really retro, but I wouldn't wear those. Yeah, there you go. So there's the Stussy logo on the front, swoosh on the bottom, the little transparent part where you can see the cushioning through the outsole, the cage system at the back, the mesh panels, swoosh over here, swoosh here, and Stussy on the back, and Stussy on the tongue apparently as well. I think this one just looks a lot nicer. I don't know, the swoosh here does look a little bit off though, because like this one's made out of leather, looks alright, but this one made out of material. It looks very retro, but I don't know, it just looks a little bit weird to me. It doesn't look like a normal swoosh. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, no, all around though, this is going to appeal to a lot of people. Comes out this Saturday, 160 USD, which is $220 Australian. It's releasing on Nike Australia, guys, so if there's any Australian viewers out there, I did check this morning, it is releasing on Nike Australia for 220 Australian dollars, 160 American, which will, I don't know what your currency is, guys, so it'll be whatever 160 USD is in your currency. I would definitely check Nike.com for you guys, or whatever your Nike's regional store is. Check out End, HBX, and Dover Street Market if you're interested in it. All around though, it's a pretty cool collaboration. I do like it. I do like that it's been done. Obviously you guys know my preference though. I'm not really feeling the black one as much. It's just a little bit too dad for me. While the little color change and little material change on this pair here, I actually kind of like this one. This one's kind of nice. And even the designer himself, Stephen Smith, came out and said this is the one that he prefers. So maybe there's just not a love going around for the black pair here. I don't know. Do any of you guys feel the black pair? Do you like the black pair at all? Let me know how you feel about it. All around, I would like to see that Nike is actually going back to its like older, not so touched on models and stuff like that. I'm happy to see like the Spiridon Cage 2 get released. Not that I knew what it was before I made this video, but it's just nice to see Nike bringing back old retro models. I honestly think Nike should do like a whole retro line, like a whole specific like Nike vintage or Nike retro, where they just bring back like every month or every quarter like an old Nike model that hasn't been touched for decades, and just bring it back. Just bring it back, because people like that kind of stuff. People like retro Nike models. I think like some 90s and 80s Nike models look really, really cool. I kind of wish they would bring some more of them back, but it's just nice to see old Nike models get some love, and it's even cooler to see it get a collaboration as a way of bringing it back with Stussy. It's really cool. Yeah, and we have to mention co-branded box. How cool is that? I mean, I didn't expect any less, but it's cool that it does get a co-branded box. Yeah, guys, definitely let me know how you feel. What's your preference? Do you like any of the apparel? Did you pick up any of the apparel when it dropped on Friday? Did you pick up any of the sneakers when it dropped on Friday? Or are you going to be picking it up this Saturday when it drops again? We don't know. I don't know if the apparel is dropping again, but just check Nike just to see if that's the case. But the shoes are definitely dropping again this Saturday. Let me know how you feel about it, guys. Which is your favorite colorway? Is it the black ones? Or are you like most of the other demographic that's going to be buying these? Do you like this colorway more? I mean, I personally prefer this one more just because it looks just a little bit nicer. The panels just look a little bit nicer. I think it looks nicer, not shiny, versus the black one here, which is very shiny. with these silver panels, man, it's just a bit too shiny for me. But yeah, let me know all your thoughts and opinions on the Stussy Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2 on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or as always in the comment section below. I'm so sorry, guys. I actually checked. It's coming out this Friday. It's I've been so used to reading American dates because I've been covering and looking at all these shoe and clothing releases. Whenever I see dates now, I keep thinking that they're American, so I keep flipping them, and then I was like, wait, 3rd of the 4th. That would mean that we're still in March. So it's not the 4th of March. It's the... And then I was like, oh, it's not actually this Saturday, it's Friday. So the article was right. I was wrong. Gonna come out and say it mid-video. I was wrong. It's actually Friday. It is dropping this Friday. What are our thoughts on it? I think the fossil colorway, it's better than the black. The black, it's just... I don't know, there's something about it. I can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't look right to me. Well, it looks fine. I don't know. I couldn't wear it. The demographic for that colorway is like, it's like 40-year-old dads, man. Like that colorway, no. But the fossil colorway, as soon as they changed those shiny strips to a more toned down one, I was like, you know what? That's actually not too bad. The swoosh, I'm still a little bit off about the swoosh on the fossil one though, because it's not made out of leather. It's like, it just looks like someone, it looks like a fake. It looks like a fake swoosh, you know? It looks like you see on those like fake Nikes where someone's like slapped a little swoosh on the side and embroidered it on. Like, it doesn't look right. I don't know. They both are very weird looking shoes, like both colorways. Because in all honesty, that simple colorway and material change also like almost makes it look like a different shoe. They both look really weird. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I like skate shoes and stuff like that, and this is just like the complete opposite of what I normally pick up. But it's a weird collaboration. But people love it because I think it is definitely on trend at the moment. It's fitting that whole vibe. Everyone wants to buy like dad running shoes and 90s and early 2000s like Nikes and stuff like that. So this is definitely in the right demographic for what's on trend at the moment, but I don't really care what's on trend at the moment because I just think they look super weird. But I don't know, a lot of you guys might be into it. Definitely let me know. 160 USD, HBX, Dover Street Market London, and Nike this Friday. Just gonna make that very clear at the moment. This Friday. Personally, I think with what Fernandez was saying in the first article, in Brendan Dunn's article, I think they should have just cut the cage part out of the name. It's a little bit too long. They should have just called it the Air Zoom Spiridon 2, but they went with the cage part. So okay, I guess, but I think they should have been true to the retro. You know what I'm like, OG or bust, that kind of mentality. But the Stussy collab is nice. It just adds a little bit of Stussy branding to it. It's nice. I can see a lot of people enjoying it, but for me, I think it's just a little bit too weird. I would not wear, like, what would I wear that with? I just would not wear that. It's a bit too weird for me. But I can imagine, I can imagine how a lot of people are gonna style it. You know, baggy jeans, baggy apparel, stuff like that. Athletic wear, you know, they're gonna go with athletic leisure wear. They'll bring that back. But that's just not me. That's just not me. So I feel like, you know, maybe that's why I'm not feeling it. It just doesn't fit my aesthetic. But yeah, all around, I'm just really happy that Nike is bringing back early models. Because it feels like Nike does focus a lot on the hypier models, you know, like the Dunks, the Jordan 1s, Jordans in general. It's kind of nice for them to see them, you know, digging into the archives a little bit and bringing back something that wouldn't get a lot of love otherwise, you know? I kind of hope they continue that trend and like get Stussy and other brands to collaborate with them on models that we don't normally see. If I was to collaborate with Nike, like big hypothetical here, if Nike was like, oh dude, you know what, you want a collaboration? I feel like I'd dig through the archives. I wouldn't just go for a Jordan 1 or something basic. I feel like I'd dig through the archives, find a cool silhouette that I like, maybe alter it a little bit, but yeah. It's just nice to see older models being brought back to life. As I said though, I think Nike should bring like a retro program back. Not just because they've done the remastered program for the Jordan 1. What about the remastered program just for like some old Nike models? Because I feel like they'll pop off. This is good evidence to it, because the Air Zoom Spiridon, even if I know it's a Stussy collaboration, either way, it's still doing pretty well on the resale market, and I feel like it still could do pretty well if they did release a couple OG colorways of it. So I don't know. Either way, it's a cool collaboration. I'm happy it's coming out this Friday. 160 USD or 220 Australian dollars. Comes in a co-branded box, 2 colorways. Hopefully the apparel will release alongside of it as well, but we'll have to see. But that's it. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions, guys. Which one are you feeling? Are you feeling the black and metallic? Or are you feeling that fossil one with the little black details on it? I think I'm feeling that one. The designer of the original shoe was feeling that one. A lot of the famous people wearing it are feeling that colorway as well. I think everyone's really feeling that colorway, but I want to know. I want to know how you guys feel about it. So that's it. That's everything I really have to say about the upcoming release of the Stussy Nike Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2. Such a long name. So until the next Stussy video, until the next Nike video, until the next sneaker video, guys, I'll catch you later.